Hi there, I'm making some roasted red pepper and feta muffins today. This is an easy recipe. You mix wet with dry, pop it into your muffin trays, into the oven, and they're done in about 15 to 20 minutes. So our ingredients today, I've got flour, eggs, a bit of water, some baking powder, salt and pepper. We've got some cheddar cheese that's been grated, some crumbled feta, our roasted red peppers. They're just out of a jar, so nice and easy. We're going to use the oil that they're in the jar as well to give the muffins a little bit more moisture, and then a little bit of milk as well. So I'll set up and pop everything into their bowls. I'll chop up the red peppers and we'll start putting our muffins together. I'm going to start with the wet ingredients first. So we're going to chop up our roasted red peppers. First I'm going to drain the oil out of them. I need a cup of oil. So we'll just drain that out. Now I'm just short of a cup of oil, so I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to that to make it up. There we go. It's just nice to be able to use the oil out of the roasted red peppers because it has the lovely roasted red pepper flavor to it. So you're just adding more flavor to your muffins. But as you can see, I didn't have quite enough oil. So I've just topped it up with a little bit of vegetable oil. So that's not going to add any extra flavor. You'll still have mostly the roasted red pepper flavor, but you will have a little bit of the just some extra oil that you're going to need. So we're just going to pour that into our wet bowl and move that out of the way. And then we need to just chop up our red peppers. So we're going to dump those onto the chopping board, and I'm just going to chop these up. So I'm happy with that. We're going to pop that into our wet bowl as well. Right, so then we have about a cup of feta that's already been crumbled, and we've got about a cup of your cheddar cheese. I've just used a tasty cheddar cheese. That's all nicely shredded as well. We've got half a cup of milk, so that's keeping our moisture nice and wet. And then we also have half a cup of water that's going in there, and 2 eggs, which I'm just going to crack into my measuring cup first to make sure that I don't have any shells. I just give it a tap on my chopping board and pop it open that way. I find that the easiest way, and then I'll just double check. So all good, adding my 2 eggs into my wet mixture as well. Then I just want to mix that up. So now we need to do our dry bowl. For our dry bowl, we've got 2 cups of flour. So we'll put that in. I'm not worried about sifting this, although you can if you want to. So there's 1 cup. I just tap mine along the side there until it's level, and that's 2 cups. Pop my lid back on there. Then I've got 2 tablespoons of baking powder. So that's my baking powder. Again, I just tap it till I've got a level tablespoonful like that. There's 1 and 2. Next we've got half a teaspoon of pepper and half a teaspoon of salt. So that's all of our dry ingredients that are going in there. Everything else is in our wet bowl, just off to the side. So what I'm going to do next is grease my muffin tins so that once I mix my wet with my dry, we're all ready to put them straight into the pans and then into the oven. Alright, so these are my 2 muffin trays. I'm just going to grease them to make sure that my muffins come out when they're finished. I'm just using some vegetable shortening. You can use butter if you prefer. I just happen to like the vegetable shortening, and it's already at room temperature, so I don't need to try and melt some butter or anything like that. I've just taken a little bit onto a piece of paper towel, and then all I really do is I just sort of rub it around in each one of the little cavities. It doesn't take very long to do it this way. You can obviously use your fingers if you want. You don't need to use a paper towel. You can also use a pastry brush if you prefer as well. I usually just have a piece of paper towel easy and to hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way. So I'll finish doing that with all of these, then we'll mix our wet with our dry and pour our muffins into our trays. There are my muffin pans, all greased and ready to go. Now I need to mix my wet into my dry, so I've got my wet mixture ready to go. And we're just going to pour that in to the dry mixture, scraping everything in. I'm going to give that a quick stir. I just want all my ingredients to become combined. I don't want to mix it too much. Usually when I'm doing baking, I do like to use my KitchenAid mixer, but with this recipe that would overmix it. It's not necessary. It's just a very quick recipe, mixed by hand. It's very gooey and wet, so it doesn't need to be done in a KitchenAid. That's all I'm going to do. Very simple, all mixed, and we'll just put that into our pan next. So I'll grab our pans. So we've got our pans there, and I'm just going to grab my scoop. I like to use my scoop to dollop everything into the pans. Gives it a nice even amount of mixture in each one. So we're just going to go ahead and scoop those in to each of the cavities. Right, so we've got all of our muffin mixture into our muffin pans, and we'll just place those in the oven. I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees Celsius, and I need to let these bake for about 15 minutes, and then I'll have a look at them and see how they're going. Pop a skewer in, press the top, but we'll come back and do that as soon as they're done. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes, so I'm going to check on my muffins and see how they're going. Need to hold this far enough back so we don't get steam on the camera. There we go. And we're going to zoom in and have a look and see what they're doing. Pull them out. It's there. Now with these ones, I don't want them to be really firm because I don't want them to be dry in the middle. I want them to stay sort of moist and gooey, but I'm still going to do a toothpick test. And then a toothpick comes in and it's coming out. There we go. Coming out clean enough for me, so we'll just try a slightly thicker one, and again, happy with that. So we'll take those out, put them on a wire rack to let them cool for about 10 minutes, and then we'll take them out and let them cool the rest of the way so that you can eat them. Okay, so I've let my muffins cool down for about 10 minutes or so, and now I just want to take them out of the tray. All I'm going to do is run my knife around the outside of them just to make sure that they're not stuck in there. Pop it up from the bottom, and that's your muffin. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with the rest of these. There we go. So those are my lovely red pepper and feta muffins. just there. We'll break one open so you can see what it looks like on the inside. There we go, nice and moist still. You've got the oil and the juice from the peppers, so they're not going to dry out. You can pop a bit of butter on those if you'd like. Thanks for watching my video. I'll post the recipe below, and if you've got any questions, please post those below as well. And also, could you subscribe to my videos to watch anything in the future that I've got, or have a look at anything else I've got? And if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Thanks!